It was my first week of university. New city, new friends, and not living with my mum and dad anymore was kind of daunting, so I wasn't settling in very well. I have PTSD. Don't want to get too much into it, but what I will say is I'd been through some pretty fucked up shit as a kid and had spent the past 5 years living with my incredible foster parents. I was living in a dorm with 5 other people. The girls, Becky and Samantha, were really nice. I instantly hit it off with them. There was 3 guys. Finn was your average sporty, good-looking guy, and he knew it. Luke was a really cool, laid-back guy. But Kyle was, well, kind of creepy. He didn't talk to us at all, but would just sit there watching us and would just act weird. Me, Samantha, Becky, Finn and Luke were really getting on. In fact, we did everything together. We went on nights out, travelled to uni together. It was really nice to settle into such a cool friend group straight away, but Kyle never joined in. He just used to sit in his room listening to really scary loud metal music. One night, Samantha, Becky, Luke and Finn, let's just call them the group, decided to go on a night out, but I decided to stay in as I was really suffering with my PTSD and wanted time to just settle into my surroundings. I was sat in the living room watching TV when Kyle came out of his room and sat on the couch opposite me. I smiled at him and carried on watching TV. About 5 minutes later, I noticed he was still looking at me, so I turned to him and tried to make small talk, bearing in mind I was really uncomfortable. He replied with one-word answers and just kept staring at me. Another 5 minutes of silence crept over the room and finally, the TV show I was watching finished. I said I was going to bed and escaped to my bedroom. I tried not to think too much of it and got into bed reading a book. It got to about 11 o'clock and I was about to get to sleep when I heard 2 really loud, slow knocks on my bedroom door. Hello? I'm gonna get some food. You want some? It was Kyle. No, I'm good thanks, just about to go to sleep, but thanks for the offer. I was so surprised. This was the most I'd ever heard him talk and was happy he'd decided to talk to me. There was no noise for a few seconds and then I heard him walk away and go out of the dorm. I got woken up about 30 minutes later to the sound of my door handle being pushed down, but I had locked my door. Who is it? I sleepily muttered. Kyle. I brought you some food. Can I come in? Oh, thanks, but I'm okay. I don't need any food. Silence. Leave it in the fridge and I'll eat it tomorrow, thanks. Silence. Can I come in? I started to panic. No, I'm in bed and I'm really tired. You actually just woke. I was interrupted by the sound of a loud thud on the door, and then loud stomps to Kyle's room, and then a loud slam. About 2 seconds later, his heavy music started playing really loud. So loud, I couldn't get to sleep, so I just lay there, awake for hours, too scared to move. I heard the group stumble in at about 3 o'clock, and that's when the music stopped. I heard laughing and talking in the living room for a while, and then, eventually, they all went to bed and it was silent again. I was so scared I wanted to cry. I felt so alone in this new environment and just wanted to run away in my own bubble. I woke up the next morning to the sound of my alarm. I had a lecture at 10, so started to get ready. I almost forgot about the night before, but was reminded straight away at the sight of what appeared to be a Big Mac meal half on my door and half on the floor. Finn came out of his room just as I burst into tears and he came running over and hugged me, asking what was wrong. I told him everything but told him not to say anything because I didn't want there to be any trouble in the dorm and left for my lecture. When I got home after my lecture, the group was waiting for me in the dorm. They all knew what had happened and told me about 5 minutes after I left, Kyle cleaned up the mess he had made the night before and left the dorm. He hadn't been back yet. Later that evening, I was in bed when I heard scraping noises from outside my door. I shot up out of bed and told whoever it was to go away. I was tired and didn't have time to mess around. I got back into bed and went back to sleep, trying to clear my mind. The next morning, I woke up to a note underneath my door saying, "Sorry." I instantly knew who it was from and felt kind of relieved. I just put his behaviour the other night down to a bad mood and tried to forget about the whole situation. Skip a few days ahead and I have a free day from uni. I decided to head into town and get some new books. About halfway into my journey on the bus, I have the sudden urge to turn around as if I could feel eyes burning into the back of my skull. Kyle was sat 2 seats behind me. I smiled and gave a slight wave as he looked away as if trying to pretend he wasn't looking at me. I didn't think anything of it and turned back around. When I got off the bus, I headed straight to the local bookstore. 2 streets away from where I had got off the bus, I noticed Kyle walking about 2 meters away from me. I start to panic and decide to head into the closest shop as if to lose him. I walk around the store for about 5 minutes, trying to gain enough time to become distant from him, but as I come out of the store, I notice he stood a few shops down, looking. I start to walk back on myself, towards where I had got off the bus. Kyle begins to walk in my direction. I then do a sharp 90-degree turn into the next shop, a girl's clothing store. I decided to take a little more time in this store to really see if Kyle was following me or if it was just pure coincidence. I grab some random clothes and take them into the fitting room. I sit in there for 15 minutes and then finally decide I had given myself enough time and head out of the store. I casually look around trying to look calm when inside I feel like jelly and I'm close to tears. There's no Kyle. It must have been a coincidence. He must have been waiting for someone. Thank God, I thought. I was just being dramatic. Why would he want to follow me anyway? I'm not interested. I went to the bookstore and spent some time in there finding new books to read. It's about 3:30 at this point and I decide to phone Becky asking if she'd finished uni, if she wanted to meet for dinner. We met up and went to Yo Sushi and were talking and laughing when Becky said something that sent a shudder down my spine. So hey, where did Kyle get off to? What? I replied confused. Well, I heard Kyle on the phone just before I left for uni saying you'd asked him to go into town with you. What the fuck? No, I didn't. Why would I? And then she cut me off. When I got off the bus, Kyle was stood right behind you, before taking off abruptly. I stared at her for a few seconds trying to figure out if she was just joking with me, but why would she? She didn't know that I'd seen Kyle. My heart started to race and I could feel myself losing my breath. Hey, what's up? Are you okay? Do you need to get some fresh air? Becky ushered me out of the restaurant. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Are you joking? Please tell me you're joking. I managed to utter out, in between hyperventilating. I then proceeded to tell her how I'd seen Kyle today and how he must have been following me, and Becky's face dropped. She immediately phoned Samantha asking if Kyle was home. He wasn't. We paid for our meal and went straight to the bus stop. When we got on the bus, Becky checked to see if Kyle was on the bus we were on, but thankfully, he wasn't. I couldn't believe it. I was so scared and you could tell Becky was as well. When we got home, we told Samantha. She was horrified and went to phone Luke, but I begged her not to. I didn't want anyone else to know. I went to my bedroom and listened to everyone coming in and out of the dorm. I heard Becky and Samantha talking quietly and I just knew it was about Kyle. I then heard Samantha go out, probably to meet the guy she'd been seeing, and Becky go to her room. I heard Luke and Finn come in laughing with 2 other guys. They stayed in the living room for about 2 hours before the other guys left, and then Finn and Luke went to their rooms. Samantha came in at about 2 with her boyfriend, and then about 4, I heard Kyle. And just thinking about him being in the same building as me, it made me sick. We hardly ever saw Kyle in the apartment. He came late in the night, so no one was awake, and left when no one was there to know. I saw Kyle every day, however, following me around university. He even stooped so low as to come into uni when he didn't even have any lectures and sit waiting for me to come out of lectures. I stopped sitting with my friends because he would be there, and I didn't want to tell anyone what was going on because I was so scared that if I brought it up, he would do something to hurt me. I didn't even want to stay at my dorm because I knew that he could be there when no one else was. He knew all my spots and somehow knew where I would be at all times. However, it all changed one day. The day I finally decided to tell someone, and the day that highlighted how fucked up this guy really was. I had a lecture at 3. It was only me and Finn in the dorm, and we had spent all morning talking. I was really starting to like Finn, but couldn't think about it because all that was going on in my head was Kyle. As much as I hated it, all I thought about was where he was. Was he watching me? What did he want? What was he going to do? It was driving me insane and really not helping with my anxiety. I was in a rush, and I didn't realise the time, and when I left, I forgot my bus pass. Finn walked me to the bus stop and then left to go to his friend's dorm. Before I realised I didn't have my bus pass, I was running late as it was and didn't have time to walk to uni, so I ran back to my dorm to get my bus pass. I didn't like going into the apartment alone when no one else was there because I didn't know if Kyle was there and what he would do if I was alone with him. I listened out for a while to see if I could hear anyone before going in, but didn't hear anything. I crept past Kyle's room and still heard nothing. I was glad and started walking towards my room when I noticed the door wasn't locked. I always locked my room. What greeted me when I opened my door, still, to this day, makes me sick. Kyle was sat on my bed, touching himself. I lost it and started freaking out. I threw my bag at him and screamed at him to get out. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed a knife before he ran out and tried to grab me. I aimed the knife at him and was screaming at the top of my lungs. He started crying and told me he loved me and wanted to be with me, and he knew I felt the same. I pushed him away and tried to run past him out of the apartment, but he pushed me so hard, I fell to the floor and smashed my head on the table. I must have gone unconscious as the next image I saw was my dorm neighbours, 3 guys who must have heard me screaming. 2 of the guys were pushing Kyle to the floor. He was screaming and threatening them, but the guys weren't having it. One of them was holding me with something over my head. He was on the phone. When he noticed I was looking at him, he told me he'd phoned the police and an ambulance and they were on their way. He asked what was going on and was asking if I was okay. I couldn't think straight and asked why he had called an ambulance. The guy looked at my head where I had fell onto the table and I noticed blood. A lot of blood. My anxiety started up and I started having a panic attack when Kyle was screaming my name. I must have fainted. When I came back around, I was laying in a hospital bed. Apparently the fall had fractured my skull. I didn't care about that, I just wanted to know what had happened. The police told me that my neighbours had heard me screaming and knew I was in trouble. They came in just to witness him pushing me really hard into the table, and then blood. Kyle confessed to pushing me, but nothing else. He didn't say why, and that's what the police wanted to know. I proceeded to tell them everything. How this creep had been following me, stalking me for the past 3 months, and what I had walked into causing Kyle to push me in the first place. The university was informed straight away and Kyle confessed to everything, leaving them with enough evidence to expel and ban him from entering any of the university's premises, including my dorm. I got a restraining order against him. I was happy. I thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. None of us saw Kyle again for about 3 weeks. Me and Finn started getting closer and he asked me out for drinks one night. Just me and him. Now, I was nervous, but I really wanted to push myself out there. I really liked Finn and wanted to spend more time with him and thought the whole incident with Kyle was over. We went out for food and then we went to a pretty posh bar for drinks. We were enjoying the night until Finn suddenly shot up. "Hey, I just need to go to the loo. I'll be back in a minute, just wait here." A few minutes passed before I heard shouting outside. It was Finn. And it was Kyle. I looked out of the window to see Finn tackling Kyle to the ground and then both of them started fighting. People tried breaking it up outside but nothing was stopping them. I ran outside and was screaming for them to stop, trying to grab Finn. Kyle managed to break free and pushed me against a wall. "You cheating fucking whore," he said. He lifted up his fist before someone grabbed him and threw him back. Finn went for him but another person grabbed Finn. One of the guys went up to Kyle's face and told him to go now or they'd sort him out. Kyle must have thought they weren't messing and walked away, looking me dead in the eyes and saying, "I will never fucking forgive you for this." Finn grabbed me and we went straight to the police. That was enough for Kyle to have broken his restraining order agreement and he was served with a fine. A fine. This guy needed to be locked up. He was crazy. A fine wouldn't stop this guy. For the rest of my year at uni, I saw Kyle nearly every week. Not close, but I could still see him watching me. I am now in my 2nd year and me and Finn are together. I feel safe with him and thankfully, I haven't seen Kyle for months. I think it's over now, but I can never, ever fully put my guard down. Hey guys, Brothers Jackson here. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Creepy stalker story. I've not really narrated one of these for a while. I've been doing a lot more paranormal stories, I've noticed, like for this season 2 of Brothers Jackson. So I've been looking for a few more like Let's Not Meet sort of stuff, and that's why I did the attacked stories last week and this today. Hopefully next Saturday I'll have a collaboration with Killer Orange Cat coming out. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more, and hit that bell notification to be notified when I next upload, and remember to share these videos with your friends so I can hit that 1000 subs mark. Oh, just on a side note, I still have an update video to release, but I'm holding it back for now to see how everything pans out with this YouTube partner policy. A lot of the stuff in that update is still relevant now, and it will be whether I get kept on or not, because it's just mainly about like different plans and just overall my channel. But I'm just going to hold it back just to see how everything pans out on that. I really appreciate you guys' support. Peace out.